Have you ever wondered how many incredible machines humanity has built in the race to conquer the harshest, coldest places on Earth? Some of these vehicles looked like they came straight out of a science fiction comic, yet many of them never made it past testing. Others were left to rust, abandoned under the snow. There's something both fascinating and a little sad about looking back at these frozen legends of engineering. Why do such ambitious projects fail? Was it the limits of technology, political choices, or simply the high cost of chasing impossible dreams? Today, we'll uncover the stories behind some of the most unusual snow vehicles ever built. Machines designed to rule the ice, but which ended up frozen in time. And trust me, the last one will surprise you. Rhino Amphibious Snow Vehicle. Let's start with one of the boldest experiments, the Rhino Amphibious Snow Vehicle. Built in the US during the early 1960s by the Rex Tractor Company, this strange beast was an attempt to solve multiple problems at once. How to move over snow, swamps, and even water. But instead of wheels or tracks, the Rhino used two giant rotating drums shaped like screws. Each turned in opposite directions, pushing the machine forward like it was threading itself through the ground. Odd to watch, but surprisingly effective in snow and mud. And thanks to this system, the Rhino could also float and paddle across lakes or rivers. Its small 50 horsepower engine wasn't much, but the lightweight frame and screw drive propulsion made it work. The cabin looked like something from a 1960s cartoon: rounded windows, tall mirrors, and even a submarine-like antenna. So why did it fail? It was slow, clumsy on hard ground, and nearly impossible to use on rocky terrain. Maintenance was a nightmare, and the screw drums wore out fast. Only a handful of prototypes were ever built. Today, collectors treasure the Rhino as a cult classic, but in the real world, it was more dream than solution. Would you ride in a machine like this, knowing it could float across a lake but get stuck on a dry road? Christie Snowcat. Next up, the Christie Snowcat, created between the 1950s and 70s in the US. Unlike the Rhino, this one aimed to be more practical. Lightweight, compact, amphibious, and stylish. Versions like the KT2, KT3, and KT4 all shared that futuristic look. With a four-cylinder engine producing 50 to 80 horsepower, Christie used rear tracks for power and skis for steering. The aluminum body helped it float and gave it the vibe of a space capsule on snow. It looked like it came from a 1960s sci-fi movie. The target users? Rural landowners, rescue teams, or even adventurers exploring frozen lakes. But in reality, Christie struggled. It couldn't climb steep slopes, carried little cargo, and was awkward in the deep snow or icy water. Meanwhile, bigger brands like Tucker and Bombardier offered stronger, more reliable snowcats. Christie eventually disappeared, but restored units still attract attention at shows. One collector described it as a cross between a snowmobile and a space capsule. What do you think? Was it ahead of its time or just too strange to succeed? Active snow tracks. Now let's travel to Sweden, where the active snow track became a quiet legend. Produced from 1957 to 1981, this small snowcat looked like a miniature armored car but could carry up to 7 people. Powered by Volkswagen's famous air-cooled engines, yes, the same type found in Beetles. It wasn't fast, but it was reliable. With its rubber tracks, tank-like steering levers, and enclosed warm cabin, it became a favorite for border patrols, scientists, and even rescue teams in harsh winters. It wasn't flashy, but it was tough. Easy to fix, affordable to maintain, and able to keep going in brutal conditions. The snow track earned respect wherever it went. So why did it vanish? Simple. Volkswagen stopped making the engines. Without them, production ended. Even so, many snow tracks survive today. Some in museums, others still working in Iceland, carrying tourists to glaciers. A reminder that sometimes the most unassuming machines make the biggest impact. Bombardier Snowbus. If one name shaped snow travel, it was Bombardier. Long before modern snowmobiles, the company built the snow bus, a bright red, track-driven vehicle created in the 1940s. Its founder, Joseph Armand Bombardier, had a personal reason. He lost a family member who couldn't reach a hospital because of deep snow. Determined to prevent tragedies like that, he designed the snow bus to carry up to 15 passengers safely through Canadian winters. With skis in the front and tracks in the back, it became essential for schools, mail services, and even hotels near ski resorts. For decades, it was the lifeline of snowy towns. But times changed. Roads were improved, snow tires became standard, and maintaining the snow bus grew too expensive. Production ended in the 1970s. Today, restored snow buses still charm visitors at museums and tours. Would you rather ride one of these iconic snow buses through a blizzard, or trust a modern SUV with snow tires? Tucker Snow Kitten. When it comes to snowcats, Tucker is legendary. But did you know about the Tucker Snow Kitten? Built in the 1950s, it was a tiny, compact version of their bigger machines, designed for people who needed mobility in tight, snowy spaces. Instead of 4 articulated tracks, the Kitten had 2 tracks and front skis. It could fit in the back of a pickup truck, making it highly portable. Radio technicians, power companies, and even forest rangers used it to reach remote sites. But it was too small for larger jobs, too costly for simple ones. And when snowmobiles exploded in popularity in the 1960s, the Snow Kitten lost its market. Production quietly ended. Still, restored models appear at shows today, tiny but full of character, painted in classic Tucker orange. Proof that even the smallest snow machines can leave a big impression. Theocol Imp. Another compact machine worth remembering is the Theocol Imp. Built in the US in the 1960s, the name stood for Industrial Maintenance Personnel. Its mission? To get workers safely into the most frozen, remote regions. Powered by a small V4 engine with 70 to 90 horsepower, the Imp used wide rubber tracks and independent steering brakes, like a mini-tank. It was reliable, sturdy, and surprisingly versatile. Utility crews, miners, and weather station teams depended on it. Some units worked for over a decade with minimal maintenance. But Theocol shifted its focus to aerospace and military contracts, leaving the Snowcat division behind. Production stopped, and the Imp faded from the market. Yet enthusiasts keep its memory alive. Restored Imps still roam snowy trails, and online communities are dedicated to preserving them. Not bad for a little snowcat that once supported life in some of the harshest climates on Earth. Foremost Terrabus. Finally, let's end with a true giant, the Foremost Terrabus. Built in Canada in the 1980s, this bus wasn't meant for city streets. It was designed for the Arctic. Measuring over 40 feet long and capable of carrying 36 passengers, the Terrabus ran on enormous low-pressure tires, not tracks. Its diesel engine rumbled like a monster, while the insulated cabin kept everyone warm, even in minus 40-degree weather. Used in oil and gas operations across Alaska and Canada, the Terrabus looked like a cross between a mining truck and an aircraft cabin. Riding one felt surreal, smooth despite the frozen wilderness outside. But as industries modernized and new transport solutions arrived, the Terrabus faded from mainstream use. Today, a few still operate for tourism, carrying visitors across glaciers. An impressive reminder of when engineering was pushed to extremes. Closing. So, what do these machines have in common? Each was bold, creative, and built to conquer the cold. But most couldn't survive the realities of cost, practicality, and changing times. Which of these frozen legends would you most like to drive? The screw-driven Rhino, the sci-fi Christie, or the mighty Terrabus? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through forgotten snow machines, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. We're working hard to grow this channel, and your support helps keep these stories alive. Stay tuned, because the next machine we'll explore might be the wildest design yet.